Hi everyone, welcome back to the second episode of Diary of a Black Girl. Today we're going to be talking about parental relationships, what's affecting our relationships with our parents, how we can improve them, how our parents can improve them, how to improve the communication between us and our parents. And yes, that's all we're going to be digging into today. So before we go any further, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video to your many friends. So before we go any further, relationships with parents are important. Like, they're so important because these are the people that raised us. These are the people that we project what our parents taught us into the world. That's what we project. We project how we've been raised. So having a relationship with the people who made you who you are is so important because they're always going to be there to tell you when you go astray, and they'll always be able to keep you in line. But at the same time, there are situations whereby that's not always the case. There are certain families whereby the parents are no longer the ones that they were, or they've changed. They're now, or kids now see things differently, or they have different goals than what the parents had for them. So that causes a bit of strain and tension between the relationship, and that's not really something that one would like to have because it causes a lot of stress. Not being able to talk to your parent, not being able to talk to your child, it causes a lot of stress. And as a child, I would like to think that it's stressful not talking to my parents because we fought over something or we had a disagreement over something. Because you're always going to need them. You're always going to have ask for something. And not talking to them, it's like a huge blow in the face. So trying to keep those relationships healthy is like an important thing in our lives, and we should all strive for that, be it the parent or be it the child. So basically, the main reason why we now see people having troubles in the relationship, in the parental relationship, into the parent-child relationship, is because of lack of communication or miscommunication. There are certain things that as kids we don't know how to say them to our parents. We just can't go straight out like, oh, this is what's going on. We can't do that anymore because there are boundaries. Because these are my parents. There's some certain level of respect that I have to show them. And that stress will, I'll end up maybe twisting my words or not saying the correct stuff. And it's going to lead in a totally horrid situation, and it's going to be a whole argument about something. Or it's just the fact that I think they don't understand. They will never understand, like they were born so many years ago. So they can't understand what I'm going through, what I as a person is going through. So that's from the kids' side is something that we need to work on, because we're already judging them like they'll never understand what I'm going through without even trying. But it's not that the kids don't want to open up. There are certain things that parents do that, oh my God, that make the kid think that way. Because our parents were raised in a totally different time than the one that we are in right now. We're in a different world than the world they used to live in. Our parents were brought up with strict patriarchal parents. They believed in a patriarchal society or a matriarchal society. So whatever the mom or whatever the dad said was law. And we like to stand up for what we believe in, which is not always okay, but we have the freedom of expression and we like to express ourselves. And our parents were born not having that certain freedom, not having that space, or not having that forum to express themselves the way we would like to express ourselves. So they have some boundaries or some rules that Nowadays, we can't say they apply anymore. So the issue of the generation gap between us and our parents is like a big factor as to the miscommunication, as to the arguments, as to the distance, as to every problem that goes on between us and our parents. Because you might have an idea or something that might help them, but parents are quick to shut down things. Parents are like, oh no, that will never work. No, no. But they haven't even tried it. It's this fear that they have, I would like to say, of trying new things. The fear of us growing up, the fear of everything changing around them. Everything is changing too fast for them. They can't control the change. And parents like to be in control. They love the control that being a parent gives to them. But there's things when things are you're no longer able to control things. Because parents are sending us to school. You are sending us to school to be educated, to stand up for ourselves, to be who we are, to say and do things that we want. To behave in a way that is okay with us, that says that this is me. That's what our parents want for us. But when we try to do that, there's always going to be, no, don't do that. That's not good. That's not what society expects of you. You shouldn't be doing this. We can't be doing that anymore. You're sending me to school to get educated, and I'm now telling you I'm not acting the way I've been taught. I'm not acting in a way that I believe is correct. If you see that, oh no, the kid is about to do something wrong and they're head on determined to do it, let them. Because we also want to learn from our mistakes. You can't keep us from making mistakes. We also need to have regrets in life. That's something you can't stop. That is something you can't control. You can't control us not making the same mistakes as you did. Yes, you made mistakes. Let me make my own mistakes and let me learn from them. You learned from your mistake and you corrected it. You learned from your parents' mistake, your mistake. I'm also going to do the same. I'm going to know a mistake you made and I'm not going to do that. And then I'm going to make my own mistakes and I'm going to get lessons from it. We love our parents, but then the certain level of protectiveness that's there, it's now harmful. Because you might not want your kid to be out there, to be on social media, but it's better to have control over certain things from a young age. Like, let them go out, let them do certain things, but always tell them, be back home by 1, be back home by 2, be back home by 3. If you're not in my house by 6 p.m., it's going to be trouble. And if they're not, there are consequences for people not following rules. Let them pay. Because once they're in varsity, once they're in college, you don't see them every day and you don't know what they're up to. And it's going to stress you out. Like, oh my God, she has never been out. She's always inside the gate. What is she going to do? You kept her inside the gate. You kept him inside the gate. If they're not outside the gate and they're acting like a wild donkey, that's your fault. You did not teach them how to behave outside. You always thought keeping them inside was okay. But we are at a point whereby it's not okay anymore. Let them go out, let them have fun. Let us make our own mistakes. You had fun in your days. Let me have some stories to tell my kids one day. You have stories that you tell me all the time about when you did that, when you did this, when you did that. What am I going to tell my kids if you always keep me locked up? What am I going to tell my kids about our relationship when I can't even speak freely to you because I know that I'm going to get judged? I know that my mom doesn't listen. I know that my dad doesn't listen. What am I going to tell my kids? Like, oh no, I really didn't. Like, how was my childhood? How am I going to explain that to them? And this will not only affect me, this is going to affect the people that I'm going to raise. As parents, you need to take time to listen to us. Sit down, ask me, what is going on? How was your day? Did anything happen? Not in the inquisitive way, like general conversations. Let's learn to have general conversations with our kids. You don't know how fun it is to sit down and talk absolutely about nothing with your parents. Nothing makes sense. The conversation is going to be forgotten by tomorrow. Nothing. That's just that sense of safety, of love, of understanding, of being able to express yourself. That gives you happiness. That's like happiness on its own. Because you get to spend time with the people who genuinely care about you, the people that they won't judge you no matter what. But if our parents look at us in a way that they judge us, they don't want to listen to us, whatever we do is always going to be wrong. How am I in the house? You might say, this child is acting out, this child is acting out. What led to the child to act out? What did you do when you started seeing the signs? Because you might tell your friend, oh my God, they're acting out. Raising a teenager is hard. You're making it hard by yourself. Did you take time to talk to your kid? Or it's always, Mark Faris, this is what's happening now. You're being too naughty. You're grounded. That sort of thing. How is it helping? Did you get to know why they did that? No? So you already have a conclusion in your head. Take time to try and get their point of view, to see what's going on, because nothing beats the safety net of the relationship you have with your parents. Nothing beats that. You might have trouble at work, trouble at school, trouble anywhere, and you know that, oh my God, by the time I go home, my children are going to be there. Or, oh my God, when I get home, my mom, my dad, my guardian, they're always going to be there. And I'm going to forget about this dreadful day. If you take the time to communicate with them, if you take the time not to judge them, then everything is great. And as kids, we also judge our parents. We're like, they'll never understand. Try them, but know your boundaries. As kids, we should also know our boundaries because we tend to overstep them a lot. We tend to just brush through things. And it's correct for them to call us out, like, you're not acting like the people you see on TV. Yeah, we will. We'll be acting like that sometimes. I won't lie, we'll be acting like that. Take a step back and assess, who am I speaking with? This is my mom. This is my dad. These are the people who raised me. This is what I want to talk to them about. Let me go with approach A. If approach A doesn't work, let me go with approach B. If it's a serious conversation, don't just run to them with things in a disrespectful manner. Approach them in a friendly and yet respectable manner. They're also your parents, they're not your friends. They could be your friend at times, but know your limits when we are talking to our parents, because we need to know them. Not knowing our limits as well could lead to these problems. And respect is another issue. We should learn to respect our parents, but respect at the same time goes both ways. I will respect you as my parent, but would you respect me as a human being? With their own ideas, with their own views. If my views are no longer aligned to yours, will you respect that? We all have hopes and dreams for our kids, but our kids can have hopes and dreams of their own. If they want to choose a different path from the one that we had planned from them, it's totally fine. Don't enforce or force them to do something that they don't want to do, because that would just ignite a fire of hatred towards you in them. You wouldn't want your own kid hating you or disliking you because you forced them to do something. Let them explore the options the world has to offer, be it in school, sports, or anything. Let them explore what the world has to offer, but guide them. Tell them, okay, you chose this path. If this is what you want, great, do that. But always remember this and this and this and that. We're not telling you to just throw them away like, oh, do it, do whatever you want. No. Guide them. Because this is a new path for them as well. Guide them. Tell them, no, I don't think this is a good idea. I feel like you should go. Suggest things to them. Because the moment you start suggesting things to them, they're going to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I could do what mom said. I could do what dad said. That would literally be beneficial to me. And everything works out in the end. Because the moment your parents respect you, the moment I see my parents respecting me, I will know that I'm a respectable person out there. If I go out, I will stand with pride because I know I earned the respect from my parents. I have the respect my parents gave me. That's a feeling that can never be topped. Knowing that your parents respect you and they are proud of you. And always be happy over the little things your kids do. Even if it's bad, even if your kid fails, always be like, you did your best. I am proud of you for the work that you did. But you know you can do better. If they pass, congratulations. You did well. Always be there to encourage them. And that's all there is to know. We are not different creatures from you. We haven't changed a lot. We are you. I'm the person you made me. So if I'm being difficult, you are being difficult. You made me that way. You made me in a way that I would stand up for myself. And I am going to stand up for myself because that's what you taught me. You taught me to be independent. I'm going to be independent. So I'm not acting out. I'm not lashing out. I'm just not wasting your tuition. I'm not wasting your paychecks. That's not what I'm doing. I'm using the tools you gave me in life. I'm using what you gave me to take into the world. So yes, that's all we need to know. Learning to communicate with our parents and kids. That's all there is to know. So, that's it. That's all. Take a moment, take a minute to ask yourself, how can I improve my relationship with my kid or my parents? And if you have done something wrong, apologize. Be it you're the mom, you're the dad, you're the kid. If you know that you've done something wrong, don't let the pride in you hinder you from improving that relationship. There's nothing wrong in apologizing as a parent. Nothing at all. It actually makes you more relatable to us. It actually makes you more humane. You make mistakes, we make mistakes, everyone makes mistakes. And mistakes are common. So the moment we learn to relate to you, the moment you are more relatable to us, we get to learn from that as well. And we learn from how you act. We learn from how you view situations, from how you behave in situations, from how you act in certain situations. That's what we learn from. So always remember, your kid is an image of you.